Good morning. Good morning, beautiful souls. It's Anna T. Brooks. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. Say hey when you're jumping on. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly share this across. Oh no, there we go. My sound is on. All right. Here we go. Let me know how you're doing on this beautiful, well, it's Friday here. I don't know what it is on your end. Here we go. Da-da-da. Okay, awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's get into this. So, hello, hello. Welcome. Oh, I just saw a bubble. I just saw someone say hello. I'd love to know who that was. I missed the bubble. So I wanted to jump on. Oh, hey, Scott, it was you. I thought it was you. I saw your little bubble and then it just disappeared very quickly. Hey, hey. How are you? How are you this beautiful Friday? So I wanted to jump on and have a chat about just in preparation for the masterclass, for the You Matter masterclass happening next week, in a week from today actually, around about this time actually. We all miss bubbles. I know, bubbles are amazing. We need more bubbles. That's just the way it is. So we're just a week away from the masterclass now, and in preparation for that, there's been a few things coming up. I've had a few people asking me questions and also just kind of sharing, I guess, really, what's behind a lot of the times when we want to say no and we don't. And one of the questions I asked as well in my Facebook group this week was around who do you find it hardest to say no to, right? And I did like a little poll, and it was really it was interesting. The answer I got was quite predictable, I think, in the sense that most people found it hardest to say no to their loved ones, those that are close to them, which makes sense, right? Like our loved ones are people that have very, very, a very intense and a very strong hold on us and on what we see and what we believe and what we want them to love us, right? That's what it comes back down to. But very close behind was actually bosses or authority figures, right? So there was three options. There was who do you find it hardest to say no to? Your loved ones, or your bosses or authority figures, or strangers or acquaintances, right? And it was we had to choose one, which is the hardest. And the thing is, I'm sure we all could have chosen several that are hard, but overall, the hardest one that really, really came out was for family or for loved ones, more to the point, right? Scott, hard to say no to the police, my BT and my fans. Exactly. So, authority figures, police, personal trainer, authority figures in their context there. And of course, fans, well, that would be loved ones, right? Because obviously they're people that you value, that you love. So it's interesting. It does come back to those things. And so when we were looking at this in the context of okay, well, why is it that it's so hard? One of the things that most people believe is, I don't want to say no because it might hurt the other person's feelings, right? That's something that we say to ourselves and that we kind of state or whatever. And the thing is, though, that's really not the truth of what that belief is. That's like the surface level thing that we say because it makes us sound like a good person. Like, oh, well, I don't want to say no because I might hurt their feelings. I might upset them. That's obviously not what they want to hear from me. But the thing is, one very simple question can actually unravel this so that you know what truly is at the core of this belief. Because I promise you, it is not that. It is not actually your fear of that other person being hurt that is the reason that you're not comfortable and you're not wanting to say no. It's actually something very, very different, but very close. And so that question that you need to ask yourself to unravel this is, okay, so you say, I don't want to say no because it might hurt their feelings. Okay, Why does that matter? Is the question you want to ask yourself. Why does that matter? And then you say, well, because I'm a good person. I'm a nice person. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. Then they might get upset. Okay, cool. So they get upset. Why does that matter? Well, because like I said, I'm a good person. I don't make people upset. I don't do that. I'm a good person. Interesting. Cool. And why does that matter? Why does that matter that they get hurt, that they're upset, and that you're actually a good person? Well, because I don't want them to think less of me. I don't want them to think I'm not a nice person. I don't want them to think I'm a bad person. I don't want them to not like me. I don't want them to not love me. This is the stuff that actually comes out at the core of what's going on here. What started off as I don't want to say no because it might hurt them, and making it seem as if it's about them, right, and about the other person, when actually in truth it's about us. It's about you. It's about you as the person who's actually saying this, who's actually delivering this to someone. Yes, you don't want to hurt them, but the reason you don't want to hurt them, the reason you don't want their feelings to be hurt, is because of how it reflects on you. Because of perceiving perhaps how they're going to see you moving forward, or maybe what they're going to say about you to other people. Maybe if it's a close one, especially, what we talked about, how much saying no to our loved ones is hard. Well, the result there might be that they withhold love. Maybe they withhold attention. Maybe they get upset at you and you don't have that connection with them because of the truth that you've spoken, right? And that is really the crux of it. That is really what is happening underneath there, is you're not actually that worried about them and their feelings as much as their feelings and their actions towards you as a result of this. Because at the end of the day, we actually have no control over other people and their feelings, right? We actually have no control. We can't hurt someone's feelings, and we can't make someone feel better. Have you ever tried to hurt someone's feelings, to, say something snarky at them or whatever, and they're just not receptive, and it's like whatever you say to them, they just like, okay, cool, whatever, right? You don't have control of it. You can try as hard as you might, but certain people, you're just not going to be able to break them. And on the opposite end, have you ever had a close loved one who's having a really bad day, right? And they're just in that mood and nothing is shifting them out of it. It doesn't matter. You can try everything. You can love them. You can give them all the things they desire, all the things they want. You can try and cheer them up. You can do all the things that normally they enjoy, and they're in that mood and you can't shift them out of it, right? Because we actually have no control of other people's feelings. We can't control what they feel. Only they can actually do that. So they're the only ones that can actually decide if they're going to be hurt or not. That's up to them. That's not actually something that you do to them. It's something that they decide to interpret and receive, right? And so this is really important to understand, because in that context, well, if you say no because it might hurt their feelings, you're hoping that what it is that you say or do is going to have a direct correlation to how that person feels. And that's just not possible. We are always perceiving, and we are always deciding what something means to us personally, right? And that's why you can have people in very similar situations go through, that same situation, and yet feel completely differently about it, see it completely differently, have a completely different perspective on what happened. And you can be like, what the hell? You were there, you were in the same exact room, watching the exact same thing. How is it that you saw this so differently? Because it's not about what someone says to us, what someone does, what the situation is. It's how we perceive it, right? And so therefore, you don't have that control. You don't have that ability to say anything to anyone and make them feel anything. You can definitely try, and you can understand the person really well, and then you have some influence on them, and especially if they're a loved one, you have some influence on them. But that's about as far as it goes. At the end of the day, that person is going to interpret and receive whatever information you're giving them, whatever, and by information I mean speaking to them or doing something with them, and they're going to interpret it in their own way. And that's not on you, right? But taking that time to pull it back and to actually not just go with like, oh, well, yeah, I don't want to hurt that person's feelings. I don't want to say no because that's what might happen. go, okay, but why does that matter? Why does that actually matter? And go a few layers lower and you'll get to the truth, which is it's about you. You don't want to have them feel, you don't want to think that they might feel badly about you, that they might judge you, that they might think that you're a bad person, that they might think you're not a nice person, that they might feel like you're a hurtful person, right? It all comes back to you and comes back to, right? And this is kind of the crux of the issue here. It comes back to how you fear what they're going to feel about you, which actually just means you're not solid in how you feel about yourself. I want you to listen to that one more time. If you have a fear of what other people feel about you or think about you or say about you, what's actually going on is you're not solid in how you feel about yourself, how you think about yourself. Because if you know absolutely in your core, strongly, powerfully, yes, I am a good person. I am a kind person. I am a genuine person. I am someone who factors in other people and still moves forward in the best way that I can see for everyone involved. But I also hold firm in my truth and in my beliefs and in what I know is right for me. But I know that I'm a kind person and I do things out of compassion. If that is strong and firm within you and you believe that about yourself, no one can shake that. You can say things to people and they can say, hey, that's not nice. That's not nice. I don't want you to say that. I don't want you to say to do these things. That's hurting my feelings. That is someone who is not empowered in themselves, because nobody who is empowered in themselves would ever tell you that you have hurt, that you have made them feel something, that you are making them do something, because they understand that they are actually in total control of themselves, right? So understanding that when you feel solid in yourself and in your self-belief of who you are, and the fact that, you know, there's these words that get tossed around within this kind of context of, you know, standing up for yourself, saying no when you mean no, not being pressured and guilted and shamed into doing things just because other people want you to, right? There's these words that come up often, which is nice, right? Be nice. No, that's not the nice thing to do. That's not a very nice thing to say. Nice is fucking useless. Nice is shallow. It is surface level. It is like the thing that, you know, when you go out and, just go out and play nice, right? Everything about that, if you think of the context and the word nice that we understand it, it is completely superficial and it is completely shallow. It is about putting on a front. It is about, oh yeah, go play nice. So just don't talk about things that are too uncomfortable for people. Just stick to the surface level stuff. Just make it really comfortable for everybody else. Just don't stand out, blend in, play nice, right? That energy, that's the nice energy. And nobody wants to play nice. Nobody wants to play nice. It's not a good feeling to be in. It's something, unfortunately, that we get told growing up a lot as you know, when we were younger. And so it kind of gets programmed in, but nobody wants to play nice. It's an icky, gross feeling to be in. It's a very inauthentic feeling. Kindness, on the other hand, be kind, that is a completely different context, because we understand that there's phrases around kill them with kindness, right? Sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind. We have these different contexts which have depth, right? In other words, we know that to be kind, there's more to it than just being nice. It's not just about surface level. It's not just about placating someone and, you know, being patted on the head and saying, oh, good job. Oh yeah, and I'll just say what they want me to hear. I'll just say what they want to hear. It's actually about the greater context of, is this kind? Is this actually serving me and the other person and our relationship in the long term? Because nice is the stuff that you say that's like a band-aid, and then actually underneath the relationship is falling apart, but you're all trying to play nice, right? Kind is when you've actually thought about this, when you've actually given it some thought. And there's a greater context of, what do I need to do in this moment to be kind to the situation, to myself, to the other person, and to this relationship moving forward, because that is going to be a very different answer. And that's where saying no because you mean no is the kindest thing that you can do, because you're not lying to yourself, you're not lying to the other person, and you're not creating the relationship dynamic that is based on inauthenticity, because that is exactly what is happening when you're saying the things that you don't mean because you want to play nice, because you want to be nice, because you don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. All of that shallow, surface level stuff, right? And there's nothing inherently bad about it. It's not that you're a bad person for doing it. There's nothing like that at all. This is simply a result of conditioning, of programming over many, many years, right? That all of us have kind of gone through to some extent. And for some of us, and especially for women, I know it's something that has been so deeply ingrained from such a young age, that it does become like second nature. It does become like something that we just, that we don't even notice, right? And that's exactly why I wanted to bring this up today, and why I wanted to break that down for you, because I feel like most often when we say things like this, like, I don't want to say no because it might hurt their feelings. I don't want to say no because they might get upset. We think that that's as far as it goes, when actually it goes all the way back to us, and it goes all the way back to how solid are you in who you are? How solid is your belief in who you are and what you stand for? Because if you work on that, if you feel confident in who you are and in what you are about, and you know that what you have is valuable, and that your energy and your time and your resources therefore are valuable, then you're going to feel comfortable and kind in saying no, even if in the short term that person might get their feelings hurt in that moment because they choose to, right? You'll know that in the long term, this is actually the kind thing to do. And that's a big, big difference. So I'd love to hear how this lands for you. If you have any questions about it as well, please feel free to pop them in. I will check back as well. Even if you're watching the replay, let me know. And let me know if you have any kind of questions or anything you wanted to unravel a little more there. But this is exactly what we're going to be diving into in the You Matter Masterclass next week. So this is a masterclass on prioritizing you, your feelings, your beliefs, your standards, your goals, your visions, your dreams, putting you at the forefront. This is what we are focusing on breaking down boundaries, how to actually set effective boundaries, how to hold effective boundaries, and how to do it in a way that's so much easier than what you've probably believed before. Because, like exactly this statement, right? This is a prime example of where a boundary is being crossed, right? Well, we have a boundary, but we're not articulating it, right? And therefore we're not enforcing it. We're not actually holding it. And we don't tend to go ahead and do anything about it because we've just gotten so used to it. And then we have this fear about what it'll mean if we actually do hold that boundary. And this is what we're going to break down and actually show you that it's so much easier than that. And in this masterclass, it's going to be very interactive, right? So it's not just me talking and explaining things. There's actually going to be energetic work. There's actually going to be, some really visceral kind of experiences for you to go through to really tap into what it means to shift that energy, to not only shift your boundaries on a physical sense, but also on an energetic sense, because this is where it starts to become really effortless, right? There's parts of your life that you're going to have to learn, and you're going to have to enforce physical boundaries with other people, and you're going to have to communicate that, and you're going to have the uncomfortable conversations. But there's also the energetic boundary side of it, which is all around how your energy actually speaks before you even enter a room, before you even have a conversation with someone, before they've even heard a single word from you. There is an energy that speaks to people, and we communicate in that in a subconscious way that isn't articulated, that isn't, spoken about in a conscious sense, but it actually, people automatically will start treating you differently, seeing you differently, acting differently around you, because they will sense that energy. And that's something that is so, so, so cool. I have a couple of amazing examples that I'm going to share with you in the masterclass of how I've done this in my life and how powerful it is, because it's huge. This is such a game changer to actually be able to not, you always hear we teach people how to treat us. Our energy teaches people how to treat us, and we don't even have to do anything about it, which is kind of cool, right? I'm all about multiplying, right? Multiplying your time, multiplying your energy, everything. Like, why not make it easier on yourself? So if this sounds fun to you, I'd love to have you in the masterclass. I'm going to pop the link into the description. It's in there for the Facebook group. You just need to jump into the private Facebook group. That's where it's going to be exclusively happening. I'll pop it into the comments as well afterwards, so you can, click on there. And looking forward to it. It's going to be around this time next week, exactly 7 days from now. There will be replays available if you can't make it live, so don't stress about that at all. If this feels, like something that would be really, really powerful for you to get some breakthroughs and get some transformations happening, then I would love to have you join us. And yes, that is it. I will see you very, very shortly, if not on the masterclass next week. Mwah! Bye.